What's up, guys? So I know it's January 6th and it's a few days late, but today in this video I'm going to be doing my top 5 movies of 2018. So before I get into it, I just wanted to say that I saw 13 movies this year. Not as much as I'd like to see. There's still a few I want to see, you know, Into the Spider-Verse I'd like to check out, Venom, and a few other ones, but this is just a list of the ones I saw, and I know a lot of you follow my Instagram, and I do movie reviews on there, so it's not going to be exactly the same. I may have put something higher than another movie, but it's grown on me and I switched the order. So before I get into the top 5, I'm just going to list off a few honorable mentions that didn't make the list. Still loved these movies and they were great. So first, you got Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Solo, a Star Wars story, which a lot of people didn't like, but I did, so sucks. Incredibles 2, which I thought was a solid sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was hilarious, and Creed 2. Okay, but without further ado, we'll get right into it. So starting off at number 5, I have A Quiet Place. Quiet Place was directed by John Krasinski, Jim from The Office, as a lot of you know him, and I went into that movie with, I think, the wrong expectations. I thought it was going to be super scary. I'd never really seen a horror movie in theaters, but, and I wasn't really expecting much in terms of, emotion or story, but it was actually the opposite. It wasn't as scary as I thought, which, kind of, initially for me, I didn't like it that much because of that, but the more I thought about the story and the heart that the movie had, I really liked it more, and it's got a ton of heart. It's really well written, a great concept, and I heard there's a sequel coming out, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, that was definitely a great movie, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so number 4, we have Free Solo. So Free Solo, I didn't know if I was going to include it on this list, but I ended up including it. It's a documentary, not really a movie, but I still saw it in theaters, so I thought I'd put it on the list. For those of you who haven't seen it or haven't heard of it, it's about rock climber Alex Honnold, and he free solo climbed El Capitan in Yellowstone, which has got to be some sort of world record, but it was insane. There were two things I liked about the documentary. First was how suspenseful the actual filming of the climb was. I mean, I know they weren't gonna like have some dude die and put it in a movie, but I was still gripping the edge of my seat the entire time. It was crazy. I mean, he didn't have a rope, and he was like karate kicking, you know, I don't even know what you call it in climbing, but like braced between two walls, and it was crazy. It was just, I mean, more suspenseful than a lot of the action movies I saw this year, so that was a huge plus. And the second thing is, it had a ton of like emotion, and it really went into Alex more than I thought it would, and talked about like the effect it had on his girlfriend and like why he free solos without a rope, and that was something I really enjoyed about this movie, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. So number 3, we have Wildlife. Wildlife was directed by Paul Dano, who is an actor who's been in some pretty famous movies. He was in Prisoners and There Will Be Blood, but it was his directorial debut, first movie he's made, and it was. I mean, I was looking forward to it because the trailers looked good, and I thought it looked really interesting, but it really blew away any expectations I had, and it was extremely well written, so that was like there was nothing plot wise that I had a problem with. It was pretty slow moving, so I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but it was just extremely well written and had a ton of emotion. It's basically about a family who's in crisis. Like the mom and dad start fighting and having a rough time, and I don't know. It just kind of takes off from there, and it's through the lens of their kid, their one son, and there's just a lot of symbolism and metaphors in the movie, and I mean, it's just so deep. I can't wait to watch it again. Okay, so number 2, I have Mission Impossible Fallout. So, wow, I don't even know what to say. Let me just start off by saying this is easily the best Mission Impossible movie. I know a lot of people judge franchises like Fast and the Furious based on how many movies there are. Like, they're like, oh, when are they going to stop making these? But I am being genuine when I say this is easily the best one in the series. Tom Cruise is going to probably die soon doing the stunts he does. You know, hanging off helicopters, and it's just one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen in my life. It's probably one of the best action movies I've ever seen. The soundtrack was phenomenal. I'd heard the other soundtracks in Mission Impossible. They usually got the job done, but didn't really have much more than that, but the soundtrack really added to the movie. And just like, just the way that they set up the final confrontation, and like, I'm at a loss for words when I try to describe it. It was just like white knuckle action. Like, he's gonna win, he's gonna save the day, but you really didn't in this movie because they just threw so many twists and turns at you. And another thing I loved was Henry Cavill's villain, August Walker. He was fantastic. And I don't know, for those of you who haven't seen it, I kind of just spoiled it, but everyone saw it coming, and they spoiled it in the trailers. But I mean, he was a great villain, and I know a lot of people are split on whether they like him as Superman, but as a villain in Mission Impossible, he was great. Okay, so number one on my list, the best movie I think of 2018 was First Man. Wow, what a movie. I mean, Damien Chazelle, I mean, the guy's like, he looks like he's 22, but I think he's like 29 or something. The director of First Man, he also directed La La Land and Whiplash. And it seems he just keeps getting better with every movie. I mean, the heart and emotion that this movie had is unlike anything I've seen in a while. And you go into this movie like, the story of Neil Armstrong, he walks on the moon, you basically think you know what happens, but I did not expect this movie to have that much suspense and that much emotion. And it just unloaded the character of Neil Armstrong more than I ever thought it would, and it explored the depths of his personality. It was insane. And Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong was fantastic. He's not going to win Best Actor, but I think he definitely should be nominated. If he isn't, you won't want to be close to me that day. But well, I mean, what else can I say about this movie? It was just beautifully shot and directed. It was a beautiful movie to watch, if nothing else. It was just really pleasing, like aesthetically pleasing to watch Damien Chazelle just go to work. And I mean, one scene I'm thinking of now off the top of my head is the lunar launch, when they actually launched the ship to the moon. I leaned to my friend and I was like, he's just showing off, because he actually was. I mean, the way he filmed that scene was amazing. And another benefit I love was the soundtrack, man. Justin Hurwitz did the soundtrack for La La Land. He's not getting any older soon, so he's got a lot more soundtracks in the future that I'm really excited to hear. But I love his work, and the soundtrack for First Man was amazing. It really, really is an emotional score, and I loved it. So First Man, I think, was definitely the best movie I saw this year, and I can't wait to see what Damien Chazelle does next. So that's all for all the movies I saw this year. If there's any that I missed or you think I should have seen or should have been on this list, just let me know in the comments, and well, I'll see you in the next video.